Okie dokie, we're gonna go ahead and do the explanation videos for Ewok and With You, Without You Blues. Now, with Ewok, we are basically just taking a C key, C major, and integrating the minor in there with it, with that E flat note. And, well, what this is going to create for us in the beginning here with our little walk down part is we're always going to be bouncing off of this G note right here. Sorry, not the A note, the G note right here. And we'll lower 3 string. That was on the 2 string 8th fret. That's the G note. But on our 3 string 10th fret, we have a walk down from F to E flat, and finally to D, and even going as low as C once we get to the chorus, but we get to that. And then on our highest string, on our 1 string, we have our walk down from E, D, our C note, do not know why that took me so long, our B note, and finally a final step to our A note. But again, that's the next part. That's more of a chorus part. But alright, that's what's going to create our initial walk down. And that's going to be an E, G, F, E, G, F, E, G, D, G, E, D, G, E, D, G. Changing it up a bit here. It's going to be that E flat note. So E flat. After that, our G note. C, G, C, G, our E flat, to our G note again, and then the final chord will be note wise, and again, slight change up again, but this is just going to be a D, G, B, G, D, B, G. That's that final chord down. Now, this first chord is simply an E note, an F note, and a G note strung together in a nice little structure there. G note and the G note and the F note being fairly close in octave there. Nice little sounding chord. This next one, I mean, that would be our 7th chord, but it's more of a 7th suspended 4th taken off of that A chord right there. That's kind of how I see it, at least. After that, we're moving to our C minor, which, again, we're in the key of C major, but we have the minor added in there, so it's kind of selecting where it's going, where that rule's getting applied. And this is one example of both rules being applied and seeing the integration into the key. And we could also look at it as C minor with the major being applied, but it's an either or thing. We're integrating the two together, and we're creating our rules and our sounds out of it. And well, we see that, well, our E flat note, it's leaning towards our C minor chord, but we'll see the E note pop up somewhere else along the line too. It depends on where it wants to be. And for that chromatic walk down, that's where it winds up showing up. And that's just one example of where the beauty can be found whenever integrating this specific way. Like we could try something different and come up with something different that's just as awesome. I chose to leave this song a short and simple song because it's a nice deal of beauty to it. Okay, our next chord. We've covered the crazy altogether chord. We've covered the seventh suspended fourth chord. We've covered the minor chord, C minor chord. And now we just get to a nice little G major chord. And this is where our chorus is going to come in. But, yeah, no, we'll leave it at that for now. It's just a nice, pretty song. And our chorus is not necessarily a chorus, it's just a secondary part. We don't have lyrics to this or anything. It's just a song that has two different guitar lines that overlap, and we're going to go through them both. Notes pretty much just the same, just different way of playing it per guitar line. One of them's covering more straight eighth notes with the chorus. One of them's covering more of a boppy rhythm type feel. And that's the lead in the chorus. And in the beginning, both guitars have their own assignments to do what they're supposed to do in the proper parts. So it's just overlapping it, making the eighth notes count in this case. The chorus part for the lead part is just going to be C, so you hear it there, C, G, A, G, A, G. Pop that C one more time, and we're back to that G chord, but we're playing off the D note. And again, that's just gonna be your D, G, B, G, D, B, G. Get all those E sounds right. And we go through that 3 times back to the, this time it's going to be a hammer on from your B flat note to B, just a return note right there. But it's kind of a nice return note because that E flat note could also orient with a B flat key, which would be, well, it'd be extreme. It'd be 3 back in the, or 2 back in the circle. We're on C, let's say we're on C, key of C major. Yeah, that'd be 2 back in the circle of fifths, F key and the B flat key, and that B flat key would produce that E flat note. So it wouldn't be too extreme at all. But fortunately, we know it's just an applied extra note. It's an applied integrated note in this specific case. But if we were to build off of it and build new lines and new ways of traveling off of this original medley, that could come into play. That would be a place to go with the theory. And it's kind of showing up right here in this return note from B flat to B in the key of C. So after that B flat to B slide, we're going to play pretty much the same melody that belongs there. B flat to B, D, G, D, B, G, D. See how a G note has just switched places from here? Same G note. You're just switching places to get into this chord here. Just changing up the chord position for that final go, that fourth time around. And well, the rhythm on one guitarist. Of course, I'm going to do it separately, but so it's a little different than the lead, of course. The lead's playing those 8 notes to start. It's getting a proper 8-note tempo established, which gives the rhythm a chance to those are 8 notes, but then we get our quarter note ringing out right there, and that's going to be on the 6th string, that F note, low F note, open G string, open 3 string, and I'm picking up the E off the 5th fret on the 2nd string, so F, G, E, G, F, E, G. Next one, E, G, D, G, E, D, G. This is where we come off of it. We're going to slide to C. Half step slide will do too. So. And I come off of it. I'm not holding that note because I'm preparing the minor chord from this position. It's more important to me instead of holding that note. I know if the lead's covering that. Pretend the lead's there. It's covering it, but. And I do let those ring out. I just do. That's how I prefer to play it. So the slide. Again, that's your C minor chord. So C, E flat, G, all 8 notes. C, E flat, G, E flat. Then the higher C, G, E flat, G, and the first time, how do I do this? Yeah, all 8 notes, but the final time it'll be a little different. So I'll explain both of them at once. The one then the other, rather, not both at once. One then the other. But the first one, slide to that G. 3rd string D, just open notes ringing out. So G chord, slide to G. That's just D, G, D, B, G, D, G. So. After that, yeah, I'm going to go back to repeating. This one you're just using the lower 4 strings. So G, B, D, B, G, that higher G though, the mid-range G. So, again, low G, G, B, D, B, high G, D, B, D. After that, we're going to go into our A minor 7th chord. This is where the chorus part comes in, and it's the same thing with the chorus part. I just need to show you the A minor part to it, but the G chord, it applies the same way. It's just usually with the A minor part, I'm cycling it 3 times with the original G before moving to the 4th time where it gets the lower G, to where the original part, I like to do that twice. We're repeating it. It's 4 bars instead of 2. It makes it to where both of them are 8 bars. So that's the way I do it. I mean, it's a fun medley, and it works on having you jump from all the way to that and getting them all ringing out together, which it's just a matter of, you don't slide to it. It's just a matter of knowing whenever you're done with this chord that you have that movement. And eyes on it. I mean, you're finishing up this chord, eyes down here on this chord as it's finishing up. As you know, okay, no mistakes are going to be made. Here we go. Bam, we're on it. And come down with the pinky first. Everything else will fall in place. If it were the low note you were playing first, I would say come down on the low note first and all the high notes would fall in place. But we're coming down on the high note, and that's the first note we're hitting. So come down on that high note first, let everything else fall in place from there. I mean, it is just a matter of placement, tumble onto the chord. Placement, tumble onto the chord. Placement, tumble onto the chord. I know this is going to sound right. I've got my placement, tumble onto the chord. I know that first note's going to sound right. I'm tumbling onto the chord. Everything's in place. By the time I get to that second note, I well know that I've either done it right or I've done it wrong. So I assume you will too. And I mean, it's practice. Once we practice, and I mean, I'm no virtuoso. I'm a songwriter. I'm a songwriter and a sound collector. And I really believe I'm more of a songwriter because I'm a sound collector. I just want, I want songs with lessons to them, and I want to play every time that are actually going to make me better. And that's what I did for myself with these, and that's why I share them. If they help somebody, then they help somebody. You know, I'm hoping the last lesson with the moving keys was a fun and cool one. And I was talking about this as a return note because we've got a lesson coming up with the red herring amongst the next uploads. That's going to be dedicated to a moving keys part. I'll also be explaining that part in order to set up just a minor little part from another song, or for another song, and that'll be later down the road. But how things go together, and it's just cool to see where some of the more experimental things can take you sometimes. You think you're doing one thing, and all of a sudden you're over here, and sometimes, you know, you want to explain why, you want to figure it out, so you do. And sometimes theory takes you in places you don't even expect, and it's just cool. But that's where the sound takes you. That's where you're going. So, it's kind of cool. Some of the things that stick. This A minor part is just. So, A, E, G, E, C, G, E, G, and then you go into the G chord, and again, just use the same pattern from before with the G chord, which is pretty much the same pattern we just did with the A minor. I just wanted to say it out loud and make sure everybody can get it. I mean, you want it? You want to practice this? You have it available to you. And even just taking small parts from songs. I mean, the chorus part is not as important as the. Well, no, it is because, but it, a shorter version to where you get to. That's the lesson. Going back. That's the lesson. I mean, that's the part to where you get good at doing a bunch of different ones of those. You get it to where you travel your neck quickly. Reach lessons are always fun. That's one of the things that I like about the way I had, not so much detective movie theme song. That's not about reach. That's about just getting them down. They're the easy version ones. But that beginning third part to Ode to the Trust Shuff, to where you're having to reach for it. That's a fun melody to play over and over again, not even necessarily with everything connected to it. Or let me see if I can go back and forth on that. I'm not used to doing it, but something like back and forth between the 3/3 part, or the, excuse me, no such thing as 3/3, the 3/4 part and the 4/4 part. That actually is harder than I thought. That is not really designed for that. That might not be a good lesson. But things like that. Just if you find a piece that it's like, okay, let's work this, or design pieces. Once you see what's been done here, it's gonna give you ideas. Again, creativity is almost boundless in the in the hands, through the eyes, and in the mind of the most creative. And the more tools that you have at your disposal, the more you have to work with, the more you play around with it. The more things are inspiring. Yeah, just the more you have at your access. But the more you have to play around with it, sometimes the lessons aren't going to stick immediately. You're not going to take this and immediately go and create 20,000 songs off of it. But later down the line, you might stumble upon something, and then you'll know what you do. You'll be like, wait, I've seen this before. I can work with this. I know exactly what's going on here. I have to figure out the theory after I'm done creating it, but I have a general idea of what key I'm in and what all these chromatics are and what these return notes are. And we'll even have a moving key pod inserted in here all of a sudden, and a key changer over here that I need a refrain part still to come that I have to create to get myself back to the original medley. And you'll know how to do all that because you've seen it before, and eventually it'll come to you too. It will. I have songs that are way too long that are still getting longer because there are just more things that belong in them. Not this. This is meant to be a short song. But again, short song showing off a beautiful concept. And well, let's get to the next lesson. I think I've talked theory enough. I definitely wanted to talk a little bit about the theory though, because we're finally back into a theory video. It's maybe not the newest concept. I've talked about key integration before, but one note. Oh, also, whenever I say, because this is an 8-note key, this is one of our 8-note keys that creates a chromatic somewhere. And we know what we're using with our chromatic. It's that F through D working its way through the main melody. That first part. Well, with this next one, but whenever it comes to, if I ever say we've got the 8-note coming up eventually too. So that will be an interesting one. That's got some fun to it. And of course we'll do influences too with that one. I definitely think that last one we did has to be influenced by Zelda, like Kondo and Zelda somehow. Like Kondo in the green, yeah. And I got Zelda written on it somewhere. I know it's not one of their melodies. It just what it reminds me of. And that was a Themes and Style era song. Probably later Theme and Style era. Not as late as GB's, but later. Definitely not one of the beginning ones. It's later in the album and later in the creation process of all of these songs. And sometimes we're going to pull stuff from later in the album earlier just to get the lesson. I like using these shorter songs in the beginning to get these initial lessons because they are very, very, very good setups whenever it comes to too much showing up into longer songs. It just wouldn't be, for a lot of you, it would be fair. For a lot of you, you'd probably gobble that up. But for newer musicians, it wouldn't be fair. For people who are really like trying to, like they've got a hold of things, they got the chords down, they got the circles down, they understand everything major, they're looking to take that next step. These are a few tricks. These are a few tricks to the trade. That's what this kind of is. And then of course our stylings, our things to practice, things to be aware of. All I can do is show them to you, whatever stands out to you. Have fun with it. But at the same time, like, my pride and joy will be if I'm inspiring people to create. That's what I want out of this. Like, I've used these songs to try to better myself as a writer. Can they help others? And if they can, like, that would mean the most to me. That would mean the most to me, that they're actually helping to inspire, that they're actually helping to helping people in the creation process. It's helping to inspire and helping people in the creation process of music. And more than anything, as long as you're having fun with music, that's awesome. Like, you don't have to, like, have 20-minute songs and crazy things like that. If you're creating things that are beautiful that you like to play every time, you're doing something right. If you're adding to your collection And that collection's like, oh, I'm never gonna stop playing these. These are my favorite songs in the world. You're doing something very, very right. So, these are mine. These are the things that I like to do. These are the ones that stuck over the years and got worked into things. The next one up is going to be With You Without You Blues, which is as simple as a F key. But key and chord are different. We're going to use this to actually use augmented chords because we're going to be working off of a D chord in the wait, and it's not the F key. What key was this one? Was it G minor? Oh man, it is G minor. That's right. Because the F sharp note's in there with that B flat. I was not thinking at first. I guess it's been a while since I've seen the page on this one. Some of these I just wing. They're simple songs. I don't need to look at the material. And I get in trouble like this by saying the wrong key. Alright. It is G minor. G minor. So, G minor, whole step to A, half step to B flat, whole step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, whole step to the F sharp, and a half step back to the G. So, a little half step minor position. Okay. But we're playing off of a D chord. And D suspended second, D. This is where the augmented comes in with the suspended second. This is where the augmented comes in with the suspended fourth right there. Now, this is just a fifth note, so we're not really doing anything other than producing an augmented sound, but we're adding a fifth note into it. And it's just going to go from that. And that's with the fifth note to the suspended four. Repeat everything. Of course, the first part gets done twice. The second part gets done just that once until we get to the end and start repeating it, well, rapidly. And every time I'm trying to add a little bit more emphasis to it. So the first time through, just if you're playing it through twice, just let the mute the sixth string on the first run through. Let the sixth string ring out on the second run through. If you're playing it three times, mute the A and the, try not to hit that A string either on that first run through. Just let it be those four strings on those first run through. Second run through, just mute the sixth string. Third run through, let them all ring out. It'll just add a little emphasis to it and give you one more thing to practice. Because memory things are good to practice too. That's why I like longer songs. I like chaining things together. It makes me have to be constantly aware, which presents its own set of challenges too. We'll get to talking about that with the next set of songs, because that's when those challenges, some of them challenges showed up is with the next song. So I'll wait till that one to talk about it. But, oh boy, challenges, they can be something else sometimes. Alright, and the other part is just going to be D chord. And all eighth notes were actually pre-barring that final note, I do believe. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 type deal. So the D note is going to start showing a pre-bar except on that first ring out. Alright, so it's going to be D, A, D, F sharp, D, A, D, back to the one note for E, D, A, E, D, A, D. Let me double check real quick. Yep, okay. Next set. E, D, B flat, E, D, B flat, D, A, D, B flat, D. Oh, I'm sorry, no D note, no D note. No D note on either of them also. These ones are just going to be A, D, B flat, and G, D, B flat. And our D note hits on the 1 for the except I like it when it rings out. I didn't mean to mute it there. But, okay, it's really as simple as that, and your chord part is going to be the same thing for that part. It's made for 2 guitarists, but again, most of the parts that are made for 2 guitars, you just add another repetition to it. You can play both parts. Sometimes I don't, just because I don't like to play the part, so I'm not as familiar with the part, so I don't want to embarrass myself trying. But with my main songs, it's different. I should be able to get through most of these, like, fairly easily. But yeah, you don't practice something, it's not quite so simple sometimes. With this one, it is. So D suspended second, that D augmented suspended second with the added 5 to the suspended 4. You just repeat it as many times as you need to there, and well, on the final go around, back to that verse part, that first part, really, I should say. suspended fourth, or I'm sorry, D, D suspended second, D with the D augmented with the added A note, the added 5 note, D augmented with the suspended 4 note, and then back to D. Do it again until you, well, run into your final time whenever you return to that D. And then just play a little suspended, just a D chord, but with it suspended 4 at the start. D, D2, back to D, and hit a low note to end it, or easy go-to for an ending. And we're going to make that the easy go-to for this video's ending. We will do another soon. I enjoyed talking the theory on this video. And, well, the next video, well, we get into the next set of uploads and whip some longer songs, but these will be fun ones. Stray will set you up for one of the upcoming lessons, and Ode to the Tribe Shuffle will set you up for the longer one, and we're gonna have some fun with them. Alright, soon.